Hi there, and welcome to this 45-minute Air Mandala flow. So like with my other mandala classes that I like to teach, I choose a particular element to guide us through the sequence of this flow. And today's is air, which means we're going to be opening through the front of our bodies, lifting the heart, and finding opening through the shoulders. If you have any kind of dodgy stuff going on in the shoulders right now, maybe choose a different one of my videos. But if you're ready to get started, now's the time to come to a comfortable seat on your mat, removing the flesh from the sitting bones and grounding down through your seat. Sit up nice and tall, roll the shoulders back and down the spine. And let's just find our breath arriving on the mat, taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Noticing how's the body feeling today? What's your energy level like? And then when you're ready, we're going to start today's class with a yin opening. So we're actually going to come straight to hands and knees. Find your tabletop. And then from here, we're going to find heart melting pose. So keeping the hips stacked on top of the knees. We're going to either come down to elbows and have our forehead to a block, a pillow, or the mat. Or you might be able to start lengthening the arms forwards, sinking your heart further down towards the mat. And on every exhale, the heart opens just that little bit deeper. Forehead or chin can be to the mat. It's your choice. We're just going to settle into our breath here, breathing in and out. Find a moment to really open through the heart, open through the armpits, and be aware that we haven't done any huge warm-ups yet. So instead, this pose is letting our body know what we're going to be doing a lot of in today's practice. We're going to be finding this opening sensation through this heart space. So being gentle with yourself, choosing the version of this pose that works for you. Remember, if you have a block or a bolster or anything, you can obviously use that too. Breathing in and out. I'm going to be here for a minute. So make any adjustments to this pose that you need to in order for it to be comfortable. Toes can be tucked or untucked. Hips can be stacked or maybe settling a little bit closer back towards the feet. It's your choice. Find that length through the back, that opening through the armpits, and settle into the stillness and find that breath. Notice the breath moving into the front of the body, opening the front of that body. Focusing on that breath. One last breath here. And then we're going to bring the hands back towards the shoulders, push down through the hands and come to tabletop. Take a moment to just come into your cat pose as a little counter. Just settle through the spine, pushing the spine up to the sky, drawing that belly button in and rounding through the shoulder blades. And then we're going to come back through our neutral spinal alignment. We're actually going to find our thread the needle, but we're going to do so slowly. So planting down through both hands, we send the left hand to the sky. Inhale, open. Exhale, we thread that hand underneath the right arm. And we're going to take the shoulder and head down to the mat. From here, you can either stay here, or you can take the right hand to the top corner of the mat, or even take the hand behind the back to find the hip crease. Close down the eyes and settle into this pose. Finding that deep breath and noticing what's happening to the breath because of this twist. Maybe the twist is affecting where the breath is moving and it's moving slightly higher in the chest or into one side of the chest more so than the other. Breathing in and out. Inhale and exhale. Letting that weight go through the grounding arm, palms turned up to the sky. Find that slow, even, steady breath. And then with some control, bring that right hand back in front of the face. Plant down through that right hand and send the left hand to the sky to unravel. Inhale. Exhale, plant the hand down. Let's go to the other side. Right hand goes up, looking up, opening. And then right hand threads underneath the left, grounding down through that shoulder and side of the head. Left hand can either stay in front of the face, find the top left corner of the mat, or you can go and find that bind again with the right hip crease. Finding the version of this that works for you, twisting as deeply as feels comfortable, and again, settling in and noticing what's happening to the breath. Breathing in and out. Inhale and exhale. You might close the eyes down, just settle into stillness, a version of this pose that you can hold. Notice, how does this side feel different to the other side? And then with control, plant that left hand back down in front of the face. Push down through the left hand to send right hand to the sky. Inhale to open. And exhale, plant that hand down to the floor. Really nice. We're just going to slowly move cat-cow just to find a little bit of articulation through the spine. Inhale. We drop the belly, look forwards, find your cow pose. Exhale, round through the back, draw belly button up and in and spread those shoulder blades for our cat pose. Inhale to your cow. Exhale to cat. Take a moment to notice what's happening in the neck. Are you really arching the head back and then tucking the chin forwards? Or can you simply let the neck be an extension of the spine, and just however much the spine is moving, the head kind of moves too in a natural way that feels like no strain is happening through the neck. So it's not an exaggerated movement. It just feels natural in line with what the spine is doing. Really nice. Let that breath lead the length of the movement. So full inhalation takes you into cow pose, and the full exhalation takes you into your cat pose. Doesn't matter how fast I'm moving, let your breath be your guide. And then when you've had enough of that, we can settle back into our tabletop, and we're going to transition to our downward facing dog. So planting down through the hands, tuck the toes and lift the hips to the sky. Find that sharp inverted V shape. You might find that having a deep bend in the knees allows you to straighten through the back and draw that belly button in to remove the arch in the back. If that's the case, settle with knees bent. It's absolutely fine. We don't have to straighten the legs so much in this pose. If we're working on the straight back, it's more important to find that straight line from wrists to hips before we slowly start to lengthen the hamstrings to allow the heels down to the ground. Maybe we start to pedal out through the feet, pushing down through the hands. The hips are still as high as they'll go, but slowly but surely, the heels will start to lengthen towards the floor. And then maybe you can settle into stillness, finding that full stretch through the back of the legs. Breathing in and pushing down, out. Very slowly. Inhale, look towards the hands and slowly tiptoe the feet up to the top of the mat. Arriving at the top of the mat in your ragdoll forward fold. Feet are underneath the hips. Grab hold of opposite elbows even. Take a little rock side to side. Notice, where's the weight going through the feet? Are you super leaning back? Can you instead bring the weight into the toes? Try and stack the hips on top of the ankles. Breathing in and out. Remember, you can have a deep bend in the knees here. You don't have to have fully locked out the legs if you're not ready for it. 2 more breaths. Last breath. And then very slowly bend the knees, release the hands. Inhale, start to round through the spine to come up to stand. As you roll yourself up, take the shoulders up, back and down as well. And let the blood rush back down towards the body. Breathing in and out. One more breath in and out. Find your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Coming to Tadasana, feet are underneath the hips. Draw the belly button in slightly, tuck the tailbone and drop the shoulder blades down. Palms are facing forwards. Breathe in and out. Inhale and exhale. One more breath in and out. Inhale, hands go to the sky. Open through the shoulders and draw the hands back behind the ears if possible. Opening through the front of the body, you can take a little heart lifting back bend, so don't drop into the lower spine. Breathe in and out. Inhale, come out of that spinal opening. From here, we take hold of the left wrist with our right hand. Pull through that left side, grounding down through that left hip. Really find that opening through the left side of the body, even gazing up past that left arm if it feels comfortable for the neck. Breathing in and out. Push the hips towards the left side of the mat and out. One more, in and out. Inhale, back up. Let's swap sides. Grab hold of the right hip wrist with the left hand. Lift and lengthen and pull that stretch all the way over to the left side of the mat, pushing the hips towards the right. Find that side stretch through the obliques, through the intercostal muscles. Where's the breath moving in that side body as you open yourself up? Breathe in and out. Inhale all the way up, hands through heart center, forward fold down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands down, and we're going to take a big step back with the right foot. Right foot steps back, and from here, we open the hands up. Push through that back heel. Find the left knee knocking over the front knee, and over the front ankle, and settle yourself here. Breathe in and out. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale, find length through the front of the torso. Exhale, can you cactus the arms back? And then send the weight forwards on the inhale. This time, arms drop back to your cactus, drop the back knee, find your low crescent lunge, and then send the weight forwards. This time, left hand stays high, right hand comes to right thigh, calf, or maybe ankle, depending on how open you are. Open that chest up to the sky, breathe in, look up, and out. Keep that left knee moving forwards. Then inhale, come back forwards. We're going to reach for a block if you have one, don't worry if you don't. We're going to try and transition through to our half moon. So tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, and give yourself a little bounce forwards. The block is underneath our left hand, which is on the outside in front edge of our left foot. From here, flex that back right foot, open the hips, stack those hips one on top of the other, and try to take either hand to the hip or right hand to the sky. Looking up is going to be harder for the balance. And if you'd like, you can start trying to see if you can lift to fingertips or maybe even find balance on that front leg. You can have a micro bend in that front knee. Remember, breathe in and out. One more, in and out. Back foot steps all the way to the back of the mat. Bend that front leg. Stay low. Bring yourself down to the long edge. Turn yourself to the right side of the mat. We're in our wide leg forward fold. So from here, feet are nice and wide, but parallel with the short edges of the mat. Hands come down in front of us. Inhale, find length through the spine. Exhale, forward fold, bend the elbows, tuck the chin, send the crown of the head down to the ground. Inhale, find that length again. Look forwards. Exhale, forward fold. We're undulating with the breath. We're using it to help us. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Then we turn to the back of the mat. Frame that right foot, turning on the toes. We're in our runner's lunge. Then from here, big step back to plank. Lower either knees, chest, chin, or if you're ready, chaturanga. Keep the elbows tucked in. Inhale, find the shoulders rolling back, open through cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in and out. Reset, in and out. Last breath here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, look between the hands, hop, step or jump to the back of the mat this time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we stand all the way up. Push the hips forward, draw the arms back and open the chest to the sky. Hold here. And then inhale, draw yourself back. Hands through heart center. Then we send the energy down through the fingertips towards the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Hands plant down, right foot steps back once more. Open, crescent high lunge. You're only as deep as feels comfortable through the hips. Take that cactus arm variation. Send the weight over that left leg. And then we drop the back knee on the second time. Cactus the arms. Send the weight over and forwards. This time, right hand all the way back and around. Left hand stays high. Find your reverse crescent lunge. Open. And close. Hands come forwards. This time, option if you have the block and you remember to bring it with you. Take your block. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, bounce yourself forwards to half moon. Open, remember, we're flexing that right foot, turning the toes to look to the side of the room, maybe looking up if you can, and we're working on maybe finding that drishti point, that focal point for the gaze, and finding the balance. Breathe in and out. Last breath in. And out, bend that front knee, step the back leg all the way to the front of the mat again. We're turning all the way to our right once more. Wide leg forward fold. Settle down deep here, breathe in. Find length, exhale, forward fold. Inhale. Exhale. In and out. Then we turn to frame the right foot. We're back at the front of the mat. Runner's lunge. Hands plant down, step back, plank, lower knees, chest, chin, or if you're ready, full vinyasa. Down on the exhale. Inhale, heart opens. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Take a moment to reset, breathing in and out. You can take a child's pose if you need. 2 more slow breaths. Inhale. Exhale. In. And out. Look forwards towards the hands. Hop, step or jump to the front of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up to stand. Find that back bend. Open the heart towards the sky. And close that back bend. Hands go down through center. Again, remember that forward fold. Energy moving down the legs, through the feet to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. This time, left foot steps back. Find your high crescent lunge. Inhale, open. Exhale, find that back bend, cactusing the arms. Then send that energy forwards, scooping it up. Drop the back knee. We go again. Cactus. And forwards. This time, left hand keeps going around in that circle, finds the leg, open through the chest, looking up if you can, but we keep dropping forwards into that right knee. Breathe in. And out. Inhale, come forwards. Left leg lifts, right leg stays planted. We step forwards, half moon on the other side. So we're opening left hand to the sky, lifting and tilting, twisting and putting that left hip on top of the right hip. Toes turn to the side of the room, maybe looking up, gazing at the ceiling. Breathe in. And out. Option to see if you can start to float that right hand off the block, maybe to heart center. And out. Last breath here. And out. Step back with that left foot. Keep low. We're turning to the left side of the mat. Wide leg forward fold. Find those undulations. Inhale, lifts the heart. Exhale, drops you further forward. Try and keep the weight moving into the toes. Stacking those hips on top of the ankles. Last breath, exhale. Inhale. And then we turn to frame the left foot at the back of the mat, runner's lunge. Step back, vinyasa of choice. Exhale down. Inhale, heart opens. Exhale, to your downward facing dog. 2 deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. And out. Look to the hands, hop, step or jump to the back of the mat and halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand yourself all the way up. Remember that back bend, lifting the heart, finding that opening. Inhale, come forwards. Drop yourself all the way down. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plants the fingertips down. Left foot steps back once more. Keeping that right knee deeply bent, open. Cactusing the arms, crescent lunge. Send that weight and energy forward, scooping with the hands, then drop the back knee. Cactus once more. Lean forwards. Left hand keeps continuing, right hand stays high. Open. Dropping yourself into this pose. And then come forwards. Remember, half moon once again. Tuck the back toe, lift and send the weight into that right leg. Lift and stack left hip on top of right. Flexing those left toes, left hand to the sky. Your choice if you want to stay here or start to work towards that balance. Breathing in and out. In and out. Drop that left foot back. Stay low, turn to your left once more. Wide leg forward fold. Finding those undulations with the breath. Use the breath to help you here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, find length. Keep it moving, slow and steady. Last, down and up. Turning, framing that left foot back at the front of the mat, runner's lunge. Then we step back, vinyasa of choice, down on the exhale. Inhale, find the heart opener. Back to our downward facing dog. Again, we're here for 3 to 5 breaths. It's your choice if you stay in your down dog or you could take your child's pose. Sinking yourself back to the hips, find the length through the body and relax through the shoulders. Breathing in and out. If you're still in down dog and you'd like something a little bit more fiery, take your dolphin. Forearms drop down when you're in that downward dog shape. Taking 3 more breaths wherever you are. Breathe in and out. In and out. Last breath here and out. We come back onto our hands and arrive in our downward dog. Take a moment to arrive, then look towards the hands, hop, step or jump to the front of the mat and halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we stand all the way up to the sky. Find that back bend. And then send the weight all the way forwards and down to the mat once more. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plants the hands. Big step back with the right foot. We know where we're going. We've done this before. Inhale, opens. Cactus the arms, drop into those hips. And that back bend. Send the weight forwards. Drop the back knee. Cactus. Send the weight forwards. And then we find that reverse crescent lunge, right hand to the leg, maybe find the ankle. Keep yourself dropping, find that back bend, and then send the weight forwards. This time, half moon or your sugarcane pose. So if you're working on sugarcane, come through your half moon, open yourself into the standing balance, and then try to bind right hand with the right ankle. Push the hips forward. Open through the heart, looking up if you can. It's a big pose. Settle here if you can, and then maybe if you look back down to the ground or take a micro bend through the standing leg, you might be able to take left hand off the block to the heart center. Breathing in and out. Last breath here and out. Hand can come down if you need. Bend that left leg, release the right leg, step wide once more, turning to the long edge of the mat. We're in our wide leg forward fold. Really nice. This time, stay low, take the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers and try and open through the shoulder blades. Crown of the head down to the ground, weight into the toes. We're here for 2 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Release. Walk yourself round to the right foot. We're coming to the back of the mat, runner's lunge. And then you can step all the way back to your plank or maybe 3-point vinyasa, your choice. down. Inhale, find your heart opener. And exhale back. Downward dog. 2 breaths. Inhale. Exhale, sink down through the heels. Send the hips high. 1 more. And out. Inhale, look to the hands. Hop, step or jump to the back of the mat and halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the hands up to the sky. Back bend, lift the heart. And come back. Hands sweep down to the mat. Send that energy down through the feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Then drop the hands. We take a big step back with the right foot once more. Open. Cactus, your arms in your crescent high lunge. Send that weight forward, scooping the air up. Drop the back knee, open the shoulders once more. Send that weight forwards. And then right hand continues the circle to the leg. Open left hand to the sky. Breathe in and out. Inhale, come forwards. You know where we're going, half moon or sugarcane. Have a little bounce forwards into that left leg. Stand and stack right hip. Right foot turns, and maybe we work towards grabbing hold of the foot. If you're there and you're working on it, find the opening, find the balance. It's your choice. Breathe in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Really try and open through the heart. And then release, bend into that left leg. Send the right foot back towards the front of the mat, turning to find that wide leg forward fold this time. This time, option to either grab hold of opposite elbows, or if you're working with it, reverse prayer behind the back. Drop yourself into that forward fold. Breathe in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. And out. Release the hands. We come back to that right leg once more. We're at the front of the mat, runner's lunge. Option normal vinyasa or 3-point vinyasa. Step that right foot back, coming down. Inhale. Exhale, back. Downward dog. 3 breaths, reset. Find that equilibrium between both sides of the body. We're not even yet. We have 1 more side to complete, 1 more circle to go. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, ground down through the feet. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. And out. Then we look forwards towards the top of the mat. Hop, step or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we come all the way to stand. Find that back bend. Push the hips forwards. Open the heart. Inhale, come back. Send that energy down through the hands to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down. Left foot steps back. Crescent high lunge. Open. Cactus the arms. Back bend. Send the weight forwards. Drop the back knee. Open. Crescent. And cactus the arms. And then we take that left hand, continuing it all the way around. Find the leg. Open through the heart. Look up if you can. And then send the weight forwards. Half moon or sugarcane. Step your weight forwards. Find the block if you have one. Open. Left hip stacks on top of right. Left hand to the sky. Breathe in. And out. Find the bind if you're working with it. Hand to foot. Push through the front of the hips, through the front of the chest. Open through the heart. Breathe in. And out. If you're working on it, start to work towards maybe tensing the right fingers and bringing the right hand to the heart. Last breath here. And then bend slightly into the right knee. Release left foot. Turn down. Stay low. Find the hands behind the back. Binding. Maybe take the way interlace of the fingers that feels a bit dodgy. Open through the shoulders. Forward fold. Inhale. Find that length. Exhale. Crown of the head down to the ground. 1 more. And out. Inhale, release the hands, turn to that left foot. Runner's lunge at the back of the mat. Then step back, option for 3-point plank, lowering down through your vinyasa. Inhale, heart opens. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Beautiful. 2 breaths. Inhale. We're nearly there. 1 more rotation back to the center, and we're done with our mandala sun salutations. Inhale, look to the hands. Hop, step or jump to the back of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the hands up, back bend. Inhale, come out. Exhale it all the way down to the forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant. Left foot steps back. High crescent lunge. Cactus the arms, find that back bend. Send the weight forwards. Drop the back knee. Open the shoulders. Send the weight forwards. Left hand continues the circle to the leg. Open through the heart, looking up. And then send the weight forwards. Tuck the back toe. You know where we're going. Ardha Chandrasana, that half moon or sugarcane. Your choice. Opening through that left side, stacking left hip on top of right, turning those left toes to the side of the room. Remember to reach for the bind if you're working with it. Your choice. If you keep hand on the ground, find more of a stretch, or start to work on that balance, it's your choice. Breathe in and out. Bend through right knee, release left foot back, nice and wide, keeping low. Find your wide leg, forward fold. Hands to either opposite elbows or take your reverse prayer. Sinking yourself down deep, crown of the head down to the floor. Inhale, find length. Exhale, further forward fold. Last one. Turn to the left foot, release the hands. Framing that foot, you're in your runner's lunge. Then we step it back, 3-point vinyasa. Lower down. Inhale, find your heart open or roll the shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful, guys. You're here for 5 breaths, or you take an inversion of your choice. If you're working with your pincher, you can start to work towards your forearm stand. If you're working on headstand, now's the time to take it. Work on either bound or tripod, it's your choice. Be safe, make sure if you aren't sure if you can do it, that there's nothing around you that you can accidentally fall into. If, however, you'd like a breather, find your child's pose. Separate the knees, have the feet, the big toes touching, and find length down the mat. Forehead down to either the bolster, block, or pillow, or mat. Grow heavy here, find weight through the hips. If you're in your inversion, try and hold your inversion for at least 4 breaths before you transition out of it. We're going to all meet in our child's pose when you're done with it. Taking your time to get there though. Breathe in and out. Inhale and exhale. We're all going to meet in our child's pose. If you're not already there, come to it now. We're going to take a little side stretch. Walk the hands off the left side of the mat. Take right hand on top of left if you'd like, and try and pull back into that right hip, finding that side stretch through the right side of the body. Breathing in and out. Then inhale back through center, all the way to the right side, off the right side of the mat. Left hand comes on top of right. If it's comfortable, pull back into that left hip. Breathe in and out. Find that side stretch. Really nice. One more. And out. Inhale, come back through center. We come through our downward dog. We're only transitioning, don't panic. Lift the bottom, tuck the toes, and come to down dog. And then look towards the hands, hop, step, or jump to the front of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take the hands to the sky. We're not back bending. Hands back, down through center. Really nice. Take a moment to drop the hands by the side. Find your Tadasana once more. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Drop the shoulder blades and just find a moment to center in on the breath. Breathing in and out. Finding that lightness through the chest as you inhale. Notice the air passing through the nostrils and just the gentle passage of air over the lips on the exhale. Ground down through that sensation. Find that lightness in the body, that sense of float. We've done a lot through the shoulders and through the opening of the chest. So if you need to have a little break, pausing the video, having a drink, you're more than welcome to take that now. If you're ready to continue, we bring the hands back to heart center. We plant down into the left foot. We take a big step back with the right foot. We're coming through our crescent high lunge again. However, this time, hands are coming behind the back, interlacing, and draw the hands down. Open the front of the body, looking up. We're not dropping the head back too much because that might feel a bit dodgy. Keep that left knee knocking forwards. Deep breath in and out. One more in and out. And then inhale, draw the belly button in, find that balance. And then we're going to knock ourselves forwards as we turn that back heel down to be parallel with the short edge of the mat. We bring our left shoulder inside edge of our left knee to touch. Lift the hands up and overhead, crown of the head down to the ground, deep bend into that left knee. We're in our humble warrior. Inhale, exhale, sink down. Inhale and exhale. Last breath in and out. Release the hands down inside edge of that left foot. So heel toe, left foot to the left side of the mat. Lizard lunge, we're on our back toes. Drop to elbows or blocks if you're comfortable doing so. Now's the time to do so. Little hip opener, but still push down through those shoulders. Be strong in our upper body. Back knees still lifted if possible. Inhale, exhale. Then we come back onto our hands. We're going to have a little play with the transition. We're going to come onto the knife edge of that back foot, the outside edge, plant down through the right hand and take a big step with that left foot up and over the right leg to find the toes on the ground, bending that left leg, lift the hips, lift and open through the heart. We're in wild thing. Breathe in and out. One more. And out. Then look down at that right hand. Bring left hand down to the mat. Lift the hip. Turning back over. Find plank. Breathe in. And exhale down. Vinyasa. Inhale. Cobra or up dog. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Lengthen through down dog just for a breath. Inhale. Exhale. Look to the hands. Hop, step or jump forwards. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand all the way up. Hands through heart center. Dancer is the next pose. So if you have no idea what dancer is, have a little look. If you know what it is, move towards it now. Standing through that left leg, we lift the right leg. Lift and bind with that foot. Grabbing hold of the outside edge of the ankle first. Take the hand up and over the toes to grab the inside edge of the ankle. Thumbs on top. Keeping the hip facing forwards if possible. As so with the shoulders, we're then going to start to kick the foot into the hand, opening, starting to arch the back, lifting the heart, and maybe transitioning some weight forwards, 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 pivoting at that left hip. You can find the mudra with the front hand, gaze on a focal point in front of you that's not moving, and settle into stillness if possible. We're here for 3, for 2, and 1. Release. Stand to Tadasana. Release and roll the shoulders out. You guys are doing awesome. This is all super advanced. So be really proud of yourself. You're giving it a go. And it's your first time doing some of these poses. They're really hard poses. Okay, you know where we're going. We have to do the other side. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, draw them down through heart center. And then we take a big step back with the left foot. Crescent high lunge. Keep that right knee knocking forwards and then take the hands behind. Interlace the fingers the dodgy way. That feels a bit skewy. Open through the front of the chest, looking up. Use the support of the hands on the leg to maybe open a little deeper. And hold. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift the heart. Start to transition the weight forwards, turning the left heel down and opening yourself to your humble warrior. Right shoulder to the inside edge of the right knee. Open yourself through that transition and open the shoulders as far as they can go. Breathe in and out. Keep that right knee deeply bent. Inhale and exhale. One more. In and out. Release. Hands come inside edge of that right foot. So heel toe right foot to the edge of the mat. We're on our back toes. Lizard lunge. Keep the hips low. Start to transition your weight further forwards, maybe to elbows, maybe to blocks. Maybe you're just taking a bend in the elbows. That's absolutely fine. We're here for 3, for 2, and 1. Nice. We're having a play with that wild thing transition again. Plant down through the left hand. Turn onto the left side, outside edge of the foot. That right foot up and over the left leg to find the toes. Ground down through both points of the feet. Lift the hips to the sky. Right hand up and over. Find that opening to the sky. Breathe in and out. One more. And out. Looking down at the mat. Right hand comes back. We're transitioning on the toes to our plank. Take a breath in. Exhale down through your vinyasa. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Breathe in and out. Look to the top of the mat. Hop, step or front bow jump to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand all the way up. And then hands come back down through center. Find Tadasana. You know where we're going. Dancer. Plant down through that right leg. We lift the left leg. Find the bind. If your hand goes to the outside edge of the foot, transition it up and over the toes to find the inside edge of the foot. Draw that left shoulder forwards as you start to kick foot into hand. Lift, open, transition the weight forwards, hinging at the right hip. Find that non-moving focal point in front of you. Opening, keeping yourself steady. Breathe in and out. 2 more if possible. Last one. And release to Tadasana. Roll the shoulders out. Deep breath in and out. Feel that air passing through the nose, across the lips, and settle the heartbeat just for a moment. We've done a lot. All of these poses have been really hard. Find a moment to settle into stillness. You can close the eyes down. Reset, breathe in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath here. And then flutter the eyes open. We bring the hands to heart center, separate the feet, toes off the mat, heels on the mat, deep sink down into your Malasana yogic squat. Elbows to the inside edge of those knees, and we're going to find some twists. Left hand comes down, open the right hand to the sky. If you have the bind, you can take it. You turn that left thumb down, wrap the elbow around the front edge of that knee, and then find your right hand going behind to find the bind. Looking up over that right shoulder if possible. Breathe in and out. One more in and out. Release, come back through center just for a moment. Lengthen the back and then send right fingertips down, left hand to the sky. If you want, that right thumb transitions down, binds around the knee. Find that bind. Breathe in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, looking over that left shoulder. Transition back through center. Take a moment, breathing in. Exhale, we sit down. It's not going to be elegant. It never is. But plonk yourself down. Lengthen the legs out in front of you. And we're going to take Dandasana. Hands down by the sides, staff pose. Think proud chest, tight core, sitting up tall, pushing down through the arms. Breathe in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath. And out. Really nice. We're going to find either reverse tabletop or your reverse plank. If you're coming with me, we're keeping the legs long, pointing through the toes. Hands are a little bit behind the hips. Push down into the hands. And with big power, we lift the hips, open through the front of the shoulders and look up. If you want, you can drop the head back, but only if it's comfortable for you. Breathe in, lift the hips and out. If you're in your reverse tabletop, you've got knees bent and heels are underneath the knees. You're still pushing the hips up and out. Last breath here. Inhale. Exhale, sink the hips all the way down. We find a little counter by forward folding, restorative forward fold. Hands fold underneath bent knees and just let the body go forwards. Breathe in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Last big breath here. And out. And then with some control, we're sitting back up. Take a moment to just notice what's the body doing right now, how are we feeling. We're going to try and take that one more time. We're doing reverse tabletop, but with a little lifted leg to make it even spicier. You do not have to do this, remember. You can just stay seated in your forward fold. If you're joining me, we're bending the knees, planting down through the feet. Hands are behind the back. We push down through the feet, lift the hips, and maybe we send right foot to the sky. Lift the hips, breathe in and out. For 3, 2, 1. Swap legs. Push down through the right foot, left foot to the sky. Hold. This is really hard. You can come down, sit down, and then come back into it. Point, lift. Shaking is mandatory. Breathe in and out. Last breath. And plant down through the feet. Lower yourself down and find yourself little forward fold into hugging the knees. Rock side to side. Feel free to take any movement through the shoulders you think you need. It's a lot through the front of the shoulders, so I'm sorry if you're going to be sore tomorrow. Promise. It gets easier over time. I say this, it's not easier for me yet. That's why I'm trying to do this a bit more. Sinking yourself down deep. Find that length through the back of the body. Releasing the shoulder blades away from one another. And then we're going to move to our final poses of the class. We're going to do our yin counters. So we start the class with yin, we're going to finish the class with yin, but we're going to choose some yin poses that are counteracting all of this lovely opening we've done to close it back and ground the spine back down. So the first pose we're going to move to is our Supta Baddha Konasana, our reclined butterfly. If you would like to, blocks underneath the knees or underneath the thighs can be a really lovely support, or cushions or bolsters, whatever you might have. We're going to lie all the way back, and our arms are either going to be out in a capital T shape with our body, or you can cactus the arms. Just sinking yourself down deep here. You're going to take 2 minutes lying on your back like this, but focus on the breath and focus on the length of the spine down the mat. Settling yourself in deep. Breathe in and out. Inhale. And exhale. Really notice you're trying to release all across the chest, all around the shoulders. The shoulder blades are spread wide and deeply grounded into the mat beneath you. The full length of the back is long and grounded. And just settling into this pose. Try and settle yourself into the breath. Notice the heartbeat starting to slow. And if possible, and if your mind starts to wander, we're just going to really focus in on that passage of the breath through the torso. Inhaling into the belly, the ribs and the chest. Exhaling out of the chest, the ribs and the belly. That wave of inhalation into the torso and back out down the torso. Inhale and exhale. Last few moments here, and then very slowly you're going to lift the knees, maybe supporting them if they need the support. Draw the knees in towards the chest and give yourself a little rock side to side. You're then going to work your way towards your supine twist. So we're going to take the knees over to the right side of the mat. If you want something a little bit softer and not as intense, we're going to have the feet touching the ground, just knocking the knees over. Or if you want a little bit more intensive, draw the knees towards the chest. Arms are either in a cactus or capital T shape. Keep the shoulder blades grounding down as one hip stacks on top of the other. Gaze moves away from the knees. Sinking yourself down deep. Notice what's happening through the belly, constricting the breath. And maybe the breath is moving higher in the chest and in the ribs. Noticing what's happening through those rib cage. We've done a lot of stretching through the side body as well as through the upper body. So be gentle with yourself. And if you're feeling it, you can always take the knees slightly further away from the chest and find a more restorative version of this pose. We're going to be here for a minute. So settle yourself down. Breathe in and out. Be heavy. Make sure the shoulder blades are grounded and open. The body's somewhere that you can support and that you can hold in stillness for this full time. So being aware of where your comfortability is and letting gravity have its way. 30 seconds more. We're going to lift the knees back through center and slowly transition to the other side. Again, remembering the closer the knees are to the chest, the more intensive this twist will be. Remember, if you have blocks, you can use them. A block between the knees can feel good, even a block underneath the knees. You can use blankets to support the hips if it feels good. Make this comfortable. Sink yourself down into the mat and grow heavy. Remember to focus on that breath. Notice where the breath is moving through the torso. Keep the breath slow, even and steady. Even though we're constricting the belly, we're still able to breathe deeply because of the ribs and chest space. Calm the breath. Enjoy the twist and ground down through the shoulder blades. Gaze moves away from those knees. Close the eyes down and focus the gaze internally once more. Breathing in and out. Last few moments here. If you found your mind has wandered, bring it back to that breath. And then very slowly transition back through center. You're welcome to take any final pose that feels good to you, happy baby, or a Supta Baddha Konasana once more, the reclined butterfly, or you can come to your final resting pose for this class. Lengthening the legs out, find Shavasana. Hands can be either down by the side, or you might decide to have right hand on the belly, left hand on the heart space. Find the breath. Notice that passage of the breath through the belly, ribs, and chest on the inhale. On the exhale, out of the chest, ribs, and belly. If your hands are on your body, you're probably going to notice this a little bit more. You're going to stay here for at least 2 minutes. I recommend 5 to 10, but I'm going to let you do this in your own time rather than me just lying down and being a boring video. So regardless of how long you spend, make sure you enjoy these final few moments of relaxation before you go back to your everyday life and the madness of the world that surrounds you. Take a moment to just notice how you feel now in comparison to when you turn this video on. I really am so thankful for you watching, and I'm so hoping that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, queries, comments, or anything, you can obviously put them in the little comments box on YouTube, or you're more than welcome to send me a little DM on Instagram. I am at rowan.tree.yoga. Namaste. Thank you so much.